Hi everyone, today we are going to make some pretty Jenga block fall themed risers, and you can use these for so many things. So I'm going to start by forming my Jenga blocks in rows of 9. I believe that's 9. 2 rows to be exact. Yeah, it's rows of 9, I just realized, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm going to glue them into 2 rows using some Dollar Tree wood glue. Really good stuff, I must mention again. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, I mean, kinda, but you know what? I don't think anything's perfect. As long as they're aligned is like fairly even. And then I'm going to flip it on its side so I can add glue to the other side so I can then glue my 2 rows together. And this is like a medium-sized riser that I'm making here. And then I'm going to line the edges with more Jenga blocks. And I'm just adding glue to like the side, like the edges, and then to the bottom of the front of the Jenga block. So that way they'll glue together and they'll glue against the riser itself. And I'm doing this all the way around. And you will see this really go together pretty quickly. So as you can see, I'm just going all the way around, as I've already said before, and making sure that things are straight as I'm gluing, which is why I'm pressing here and there. And this is not hard at all. You guys will probably really enjoy this. Like, it's super easy, and that's what I love about it too. But yet you can make them look like they took forever to make. So now I'm going to make the legs, like for the stands for my riser. And I'm using 2 Jenga blocks glued together. And the reason you see me placing them and like touching the top is to make sure that they're each the same size, as close as possible, because if not, your riser will be kind of wobbly when it sits down on a surface. And I do have a way of fixing that, and I will wind up showing you how to fix that, because one of my risers actually did wind up a little wobbly. But that's okay, you know, they still come out really nice. Yeah, and I'm just gluing them together, making sure they're straight and even with each other. And now I'm going to take some E6000 glue because I just think it's a little stronger, but if you don't have E6000, you can still use your wood glue or whatever stronger holding glue you have. But I'm gluing the legs on with the E6000 today. But if I didn't have E6000, trust me, I'd totally still use my Dollar Tree wood glue. It's really good stuff. I'm just doing this just because I don't really know why, to be honest. I just want to be sure, I guess. And now I'm just getting off any excess glue with a piece of a popsicle stick, but you could also use like a toothpick. And then I'm going to use a piece of a really large, I think it's the jumbo popsicle sticks from Walmart, or the super jumbo. I think it's a super jumbo, and I'm just going to use my Gorilla hot glue for this. And I'm just gluing it to the bottom, and I'm going to do that twice. And the reason is because I just want to make sure I give the Jenga blocks a little bit of reinforcement to make sure that they stay really well. And this is kind of optional, but I just do it just to make sure it's going to stay together and hold, you know. And then I'm going to allow my glue to dry, and now I'm going to work on a different riser that's actually a little larger. And all I did differently with this is I added 1 extra row of 9 Jenga blocks. So I did the exact same thing with this one, same method, same glue, same everything. I just added one extra row. I even know how to make a smaller size, and with that one you just do 2 rows of 6. And then the same exact thing, outline the edges with Jenga blocks and make little legs for it. But I mean, once you learn how to make the medium one and the large one, you can make practically any size you want doing the exact same thing. It's really cool. And the best advice I have for you with these Jenga blocks is you want to kind of make sure that they're kind of the same size as close as possible, because I've noticed with the Dollar Tree Jenga blocks that some are a different size than others. And I guess it's because they're not really meant for crafting, but hey, there's no rules when it comes to crafting, right? And with this one, I'm going to add 3 of the jumbo or super jumbo popsicle sticks from Walmart. And like I said, this is probably optional, but I just do it for extra precaution, you know, make sure it's really going to hold together. Give it a little more stability. But these are really pretty once you paint them and decorate them. Really pretty. The sky's the limit when it comes to these risers. Now that my glue is all dry, I'm going to go ahead and paint these in Plaster by Waverly. It's a really nice, like, off-white type color. And I had trouble getting my lid open right there, as you can see, but finally got it open. I think it's because the paint had dried in the lid. Story of my life. I hope you guys are doing well today, by the way. I mean, I know I haven't gotten to say that yet in my last video, but just show me some love in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're getting by through the pandemic. If you need prayer for anything, let me know. I think we should all pray for each other and care for each other. So just painting around the edges and the top. I'm actually going to paint the entire thing. And if you don't wish to use like this kind of paint, I'm pretty sure you can even use spray paint. I didn't have any spray paint, so I just went ahead and went with this paint. But it's really not that hard to paint anyway. It's actually fun and therapeutic and pretty easy too. I'm so sorry if my angle isn't good. I'm trying my hardest to work on that and figure out why my angle does this. And I mean, I know I'm using my phone, but I still don't understand why it's doing that. But I'm going to try to fix it. Hopefully I fix it before posting. And I'm just going to use my hair dryer off and on so that way I can flip it and flip it on its side and on the other side so I can paint the bottom. But yeah, I really like this color by Waverly. It's nice and subtle, and it's like not super bright, but it's not super dull either. It's like right in between. And I'm just going to continue painting till it's all the way painted. And I'm going to add 2 coats, by the way. Depending on your paint and your brand, you may have to add like 3 coats, but I've noticed with this brand, like, it's really good. Like, you only need like maybe 2 at the most. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm just going to continue and paint the legs as well. I try to get every corner too. Okay, now they're painted, both of them, and I painted both the same color. And now I'm going to show you how I fix it when it's uneven. I just put a little bit of like a squiggly circle of hot glue, kind of in a spiral motion. And that makes it to where it kind of evens it out, because you can see which leg is off and which one's like kind of shorter maybe. And it worked. It barely even does it anymore. And so now I'm going to get out my pretty Hobby Lobby paper, and I really love this pattern. It's got all the cute little trucks and pumpkins and sunflowers. And I'm going to decide where I actually want it, and that's what I did. I just kind of looked at the paper and decided what part of the design I wanted to be on my riser. And now I'm just going to trace the outside, so that way I can just cut it out and then paste it on with some Mod Podge. So now I'm going to cut out my design, or my my shape, I should say. And then once I get that cut out, I'm going to go spritz it with some water. And I heard that that helps with wrinkles. I almost forgot to, actually, and I wound up showing you my Mod Podge and everything else. Right now I'm getting the little pencil marks off with the eraser, but I actually realized at the end I didn't even have to do that because it winds up covered with ribbon and paper, but that's okay. And I always save my scraps. See, I wind up showing you my Mod Podge and that it's the matte version, and then I realize I need to go spritz my paper. And I just took a little bowl of water, put it on my fingers, and I just kind of spritzed it on both sides. And then I realized I might have gotten it a little too moist, and then I took a paper towel just to kind of dab it dry a little. Or pat it dry, I should say. I know I got off frame, I'm so sorry. Then I'm going to take my matte Mod Podge that I got at Walmart and coat the top of the riser with the Mod Podge. And I coat it kind of generous, but not like too much, of course. And I'm trying to fix some spots. Now putting the paper on top of where I put the Mod Podge and just kind of smoothing it. And then I take a like a wadded piece of saran wrap, plastic wrap, or whatever it's called, and just kind of smooth the top, and it kind of keeps it from getting stuck to your fingers. And it doesn't do that too bad anyways, but it just kind of helps with like bubbles, and that's what the moistness of the water was supposed to help with too, to help there not to be too many wrinkles or bubbles. Works pretty well, actually. And then I'm going to blow dry that. And then once I think it's dry, or it seems to be dry, I go ahead and coat the top with more Mod Podge just to kind of seal everything in, especially the edges. Just smoothing and make sure it's smooth. And now adding that top coat of Mod Podge. It's going to look so nice. Wait till you see. I think this would be really pretty to put like candles on, or maybe some other type of cute little fall decor piece. Now I'm sure I'm getting the edges with the Mod Podge. Then I'm going to blow dry that as well. Isn't that looking really cute so far? I love that little truck. Now just kind of like touching it, making sure there's not a bunch of bubbles or wrinkles. Then I'm going to add a second coat, I think after this. And I'm getting the sides. Still getting the sides. Now I'm adding my second coat to the top. I just want to really make sure it's sealed in. One probably would have been fine, but I just wanted to be sure. I know the second coat doesn't hurt it either, so why not? Then I'm going to blow dry that. Hair dry. It doesn't have hair. So yeah, I'm going to blow dry that till it's completely dry, or at least most of the way to where I can handle it. Then I'm going to kind of smooth things out here and there. But I always make sure it's dry enough to where I can touch it at least, so I don't ruin it. And that hair dryer does pretty good. You still want to be careful, of course, though. Make sure there's not like any tacky parts. And isn't that beautiful so far? Now I'm going to take this really pretty gingham print ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue this to the edges. I thought it was cute because it also matches the little door on the truck. Then I'm going to use my silicone spatula to press it down so I don't burn my fingers too much. And then I just do this all the way around because I just really loved, sorry, I dropped my phone. But yeah, I really love how that looks on the edges. And then I just kind of put my little silicone spatula down in that like corner there that you see, the little part that's notched out, because it's kind of hard to, you know, just make it go down in there without pressing with something and without burning yourself. So I just use like the edge of my spatula and push it in, and it works just fine. And I'm just adding little swirlies of hot glue and then like a line at the end. And it works really well and holds really well too. I'm sure if you're worried about it coming off, you could even use like Fabri-Tac glue. It's good stuff as well, and it dries pretty quickly to be a liquid glue. But I'm impatient and I wanted it to dry even more quickly. But it holds really well. I've made other risers and used hot glue for the ribbon, and it's been holding really well. Then I'm just going to snip off at the end. And see? Really cute. Matches the door. I really love that. Then I have this other really pretty fall paper from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just deciding where exactly, like what part of the design I want to be on the top. And I just went with this part right here because I really liked the pumpkin that had the gingham print and then the white pumpkin. It's really pretty. Then I just kind of straighten it out a little bit and then trace my sides just as I did with the other riser. And I'm really focused here, as you can see. I'm just like all into this crafting moment. Then I'm going to just cut that out, of course. I really love this paper. I really love Hobby Lobby's papers. They're so pretty. And pretty unique too, I think. I just love that. And now I've got it cut out, and I went ahead and spritzed it off camera just the way I did with the other paper. And I think that does some good. As I said, I think it's supposed to kind of help with some of the bubbles and stuff, or the wrinkles and bubbles that you get in the paper. And it helps some, I know that. I know it really works on like calendar paper, because I've crafted with calendar paper before and that wrinkles really bad. So I tried spritzing it with water and that helped so much. You get like little to no wrinkles at all. I guess it's because the thinner the paper, the more it's going to wrinkle on you and bubble up. But yeah, I'm just using the same little wadded up piece of saran wrap. I'm just kind of smoothing everything out. making sure there's not like a ton of wrinkles or bubbles. And then smoothing the edges, making sure they're sticking. And if you have like a slight amount of overhang, that's actually okay because we're going to cover that up with ribbon anyways. And then doing the same thing, just making sure I blow dry that to dry the Mod Podge, just to speed up the process a little bit. Because who wants to wait? I know I don't. I love to go to the next step of my project. It's just so fun. Now adding my top coat, just as I did with the other riser. Same Mod Podge. And then coating my edges. I don't really worry about putting Mod Podge on the feet or anything because I think it's just fine just doing the top and the sides. I mean, you can if you choose, but I just choose not to. And it does just fine usually. Now I'm just going to hair dry it till it's completely dry. Or blow dry it. I keep saying hair dry for some reason. And just turning it on its side, making sure I'm drying every part of the riser. And when dry enough, I kind of still smooth it out a little bit more, make sure there's no bubbles or wrinkles in the paper. And I think I'm going to go in with a different style of ribbon on this one. Even though I still could have used the same exact print, I just thought it would be nice to do something different. Well, after I add the second coat of Mod Podge, I mean. Which I am doing right now. I really love how clear the Mod Podge dries. It's almost like I never did anything. So nice. Nice finish. And I honestly prefer the matte Mod Podge over the gloss or the super gloss or any of that because I feel like it's less tacky when it's dry. Now I'm going to add this really pretty striped ribbon I got at Dollar Tree. And I'm doing it the exact same way as I did the other ribbon on the other riser. It's just a larger riser, but it's the same exact methods. Sorry, my arm got in the way. Yep, just going to continue around the edges till it's complete. Smoothing it out. And this ribbon isn't so sheer, so I can actually just use my fingers for pressing it down most of the way. Except for in that corner, that little notch. But I actually did do that a couple times. Works better with the spatula though. And we're almost finished. Now gluing my very last piece. Trimming the ribbon off at the edge as close as I can get it. And now this one's finished. And that's going to complete today's video. Thank you all for watching, and God bless. Bye.